Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. So if your Whirlpool washer is stuck on sensing and won't move to the wash cycle, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. Good news is most of these aren't actually broken. They're just confused and need a little nudge in the right direction. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, so here's the deal. Your Whirlpool washer should complete sensing mode in 2 to 4 minutes. If it's been stuck longer than 5 minutes, you've definitely got a problem. It's supposed to check the load size, figure out how much water to add, do some little spins, and move on. When it gets stuck there, spinning its wheels, it's usually one of 7 things going wrong, and trust me, most of these you can fix yourself for way less than calling someone like me out to your house. So the most common culprit I see is a bad shift actuator switch. This little guy is what switches your washer from agitation mode to spin mode by engaging and disengaging the transmission gears. Now here's what happens. During sensing, your washer needs to spin the drum slowly to figure out how heavy your load is. If that actuator switch is shot, the drum can't move, so the washer just sits there thinking forever. Here's how to identify actuator problems. First, watch your drum during the sensing cycle. With a bad actuator, you'll see zero movement, not even small test spins. Second, listen for grinding, clicking, or buzzing sounds coming from underneath the washer. These noises mean the actuator is trying to engage but failing. The actuator is usually at the bottom of your washer, so you'll need to pull it out and squat down to take a look. Check for burned parts, damaged wires, or corroded connections. Sometimes it's just loose connections or debris blocking it. Those you can fix. But if the internal components are fried or the housing is cracked, you're looking at a replacement. The part runs about 20 to $100 depending on your model, which beats a $300 service call any day. Another thing that'll mess with your sensing cycle is sensors that are out of whack. Your washer's got load sensors, water level sensors, temperature sensors, all kinds of sensors working together during that sensing phase. I had this customer last month whose washer started acting up right after they moved. Turns out all that jostling during the move knocked the sensors out of calibration. The washer would fill with way too much water or not enough, and it couldn't figure out what size load it was dealing with. You'll know it's a calibration issue if your water levels seem off, you're getting sensor error codes, or if this started happening after moving the washer. The cycles might also take way longer than normal. Good news is you can recalibrate most Whirlpool washers yourself. Here's the calibration sequence. First, unplug for 3 minutes, then set your dial to normal. Now follow this pattern carefully. Turn the dial 1 click left, then 3 clicks right, then 1 left, then 1 right. Finally, turn 4 more clicks right until you see only the rinse light illuminated, then press start. The washer will spend about 3 minutes recalibrating itself. Way easier than you'd think, and it fixes the problem about 70% of the time. Let's talk about water inlet valve problems. These valves control how much water flows into your washer based on what the control board tells them. During sensing, if the valves can't deliver the right amount of water, your washer gets confused and stays stuck. The valves can get clogged up, the solenoids can go bad, or you might have loose wiring connections. Sometimes it's not even the valve. Could be low water pressure from your house or kinked hoses. Here's your water valve diagnosis checklist. Start a sensing cycle and watch the water flow. You should see steady streams from both hot and cold inlets. Weak trickles or no flow indicates valve problems. Next, listen for hissing or buzzing from behind the washer where the hoses connect. These sounds mean the valve solenoids are struggling to open. Check your house water pressure and make sure those supply valves are fully open. Look for any kinks or twists in the hoses. If you're getting error codes like F8E3, that's pointing right at the water inlet valve. Sometimes you can clean out a clogged valve by flushing it with water, but if the solenoids are bad, you'll need to replace the whole unit. Parts run about 20 to 150, and honestly, it's not too bad a job if you're handy with basic tools. Now we're getting into the more complex stuff. Control board issues. This is basically the brain of your washer, and during sensing, it's coordinating everything. Talking to sensors, controlling water valves, managing the motor. When the control board goes haywire, it might not send the right signals to finish the sensing cycle. Could be miscommunication with sensors, software glitches, or blown components on the board itself. Here's the tricky part. Control boards are tough to diagnose. Look for any error codes first, then do a visual inspection for burn marks, blown capacitors, or loose connections. You can test continuity on fuses and relays with a multimeter if you've got one. Sometimes a simple reset fixes control board issues. Unplug for 5 minutes, clean any dust off the board with compressed air. Minor stuff like loose connections or blown capacitors you might be able to fix, but major damage usually means replacement. Control boards cost $200 to $600 plus labor. Here's my rule of thumb. If your washer is under 5 years old, the repair is usually worth it. If it's 8 plus years old and needs a $400 plus control board, you're probably better off putting that money toward a new washer. Moving on to drive belt issues, this one's actually pretty straightforward. The drive belt connects your motor to the drum, and during sensing, that belt needs to turn the drum for load detection. If the belt's broken, stretched out, or slipped off the pulleys, your drum won't move during sensing. You'll usually hear the motor running, but nothing's happening in the tub. You'll need to access the back or bottom of your washer to check the belt. Look for cracks, fraying, or if it's completely snapped. Sometimes belts just slip off the pulleys. You can put those back on, but if it's damaged, replacement is your only option. Good news is drive belts are cheap, usually 10 to 60 bucks. The job's not too complicated either. Just make sure you get the right belt for your model. Way better than being stuck with a washer that won't wash anything. Let's cover motor and motor coupling problems. The drive motor powers everything during sensing. It turns the drum, runs the pump, operates the transmission. If it's not working right, sensing can't complete. Motor coupling connects the motor to the transmission, and it's designed to break if something jams up, kind of like a safety fuse. When it breaks, the motor runs but nothing moves. You'll hear the motor humming or running, but no drum movement. Sometimes there's grinding or unusual noises. The coupling is usually easier to access than the motor itself. It's a small plastic or rubber piece that connects the motor shaft to the transmission. Couplings are cheap fixes, maybe 10 to 30 bucks. Motors are more expensive, running 200 to 700 depending on the model. If it's just the coupling, that's definitely worth fixing. If the motor's shot, you'll want to weigh the repair cost against getting a new washer, especially if yours is more than 8 or 10 years old. You can see the most affected models on the screen right now. This issue hits a wide range of Whirlpool washers, but I see it most often in the Cabrio series, the WTW models, and some of the newer direct drive units. The models displayed here represent the ones I've worked on most for this exact problem. What's interesting is it seems to affect both top load and front load models, though the top loaders with the sensing technology seem to have more issues overall. If you've got one of these units shown here, don't panic. Like I said, most of these problems are fixable without spending a fortune. Check your model number against what's displayed to see if yours is in the commonly affected group. All right, so that's how you tackle a Whirlpool washer stuck on sensing. Here's your game plan. Start with the 5-minute fixes, recalibrate your sensors, and check for loose connections or error codes. If those don't work, move on to inspecting the actuator switch and drive belt. Save the expensive stuff like control boards and motors for last, and don't be afraid to call a pro if the repair cost approaches half the price of a new washer. Most of the time, it's going to be that shift actuator or sensors that need recalibration. Those are the two I see most often, and they're both things you can handle yourself with basic tools. Remember, if you're not comfortable working on electrical components or you're dealing with control board issues, don't be a hero. Call a professional. But for the simpler fixes, you can definitely save yourself some money. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your washer working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.